Alright folks, 9 Too Fast for You, or Malcolm, otherwise known as, and the Beast, otherwise known as Pepper. And we're going to get active with it today. What are you doing with electrician pliers? I just like using these flat noses to pull the injectors out on the front, because I've got big old grip spaces, so they get a good bite on them. And you're like, why are you pulling the injectors, Malcolm? Well, we had a little issue. We're doing really good, and then we stopped doing really good. We got about 300 miles on the car, maybe 250, and then I was on the way to my dad's office to go look at the donor car of the Safari, and it was going great. I was in third, just fucking chilling, going great, and then it wasn't going great. Now it's not going great anymore. Car won't start anymore. So it's in third gear. We were going probably 3,000 RPM, foot getting to the floor. I was running through it pretty fast, and all of a sudden, just fell on its face. There's no more. There's no throttle response. Gone. A little tiny bit. It'd be like if I put my foot down, it would stumble, rev up a little bit and stumble. It wouldn't get into gear. If I tried to go in first gear, it would just die and fall on its face. So eventually, I got it. Tried messing with it, just thinking if the only thing I did to it before I left was I pulled this guy off. And after I did that, I had done about 10 miles of driving, and then I stopped. I stopped and got gas. So my theory lies in that maybe the fuel pump's bad, because when I was trying to drive, it would run a little bit, but it was super sluggish. It was leaning out really bad. It was leaning out to like 24 AFR, which is like melting pistons lean. Big old problem lean, not what you want to see lean. So it still cranks and spins fine. I don't think it's hurt. I just think something in the fueling died. I'm going to assume that, funny enough, the new Delphi fuel pump, shout out to Delphi, I think that is probably my number one thought of what died. Because if the fuel pump dies, the intake pump will try to pump a little bit, and there'll be a residual line pressure trying to catch it, and then as it goes, it'll help suck it up. But I have a feeling maybe the pump died. Thought number one. Thought number two, which is not a thought I want to think, but the fuel distributor died. Those are my two. It's really fuel is what I'm thinking is the issue. And my other thought maybe is that when I got gas, maybe there was water in the gas somehow in the underground system. It's been raining recently around here. I went to a good gas station, but it does happen. Don't know. You don't know, say. We're going to find out here. So my plan is to pull the injectors. I'm going to jump the fuel pump. Make it jump, jump the fuel pump, and then the fuel pump being jumped, I'm going to make sure it's running. If I can hear it running, then I know it's good. I'm familiar with what these injectors should spray like. I have some bottles behind me. I'll pull this intake manifold off and make the boot spray, and then see what it does. But first things first, before I pull injectors, I'm going to pull this thing off and see what's going on in here. So the filter isn't blocked. There's no rat's nest sucked up. It's a good sign. The fuel distributor feels like it used to. There's a feeling you get to when they push up and they have a little resistance and they fall down again. You kind of get used to the way they're supposed to feel. It's supposed to feel pretty free floating. If you push it up and let go and try to catch it again, it won't come straight back down to you. There'll be a little bit of a gap usually. This is how I think they're supposed to work. I've never had a brand new one. I've only had this one. So, that being said, The next train of thought is going to be, like I said, probably jump the fuel pump, so disconnect the battery. We'll do that. And then the next step will be go back under the dash. Already done this once today, actually. Take my little jumper, my 2 spades, take a flashlight, and I like to bring a pair of needle nose pliers with to help push them in. But this right here is a must. If you work on Porsche 924s, this is just a standard spade connector. I got these online from British Motorsports. It says IMP, I think, on the back of it. IMR. What does that say? Imperial. I think Imperial. So, yeah, these are a must. Fuel pump, jumper relay, must. You need this if you're going to have one of these cars. And if you plan on working on it ever. Which, if you plan on having one of these cars, good luck finding someone to work on them. I can't even find a fucking place to align my tires. So when you're looking up, your head's under the dashboard, you're like doing this, trying to find it. You have to finagle the fuel pump relay out. And whoever has a later model car, like a 79 or later, with the second fuse relay block, understands the fucking horrible fuse location, that a relay location it is to get that out. So be careful when you're pulling it out. Wiggle, 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 shake, shake, shake. Switch hands, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just work it. If you really need, you can get a pair of pliers out, and those have helped me before, but you have to be careful because it's a plastic housing and you're cracking if you're not careful. So, with that being said, when you put it in, you're looking up. One spot's going to be flat sideways. If you're looking up at it from underneath, it's right in front of you. One will be flat on the left, and the other one will be turned straight vertical on the right. Those will be the 2 that you're looking for. I can't really get you a camera view down there. There's no way I'm going to be able to get one in there. So it's the flat in the middle on the left, and then the straight vertical on the right in the middle. So those are what you're looking for. And make sure you disconnect the battery before you do it, because it'll go right away when you do it. You ever start small, my friends? And this is a good fuse. The one I just pulled out of number 5 of the upper panel was melted. Wait, melted? What do you mean melted? I mean, as in, if you buy the jumbo pack of cheap fuses, well, bam, they end up like that. Whoa, how do they do that? Yeah, they melt because they're plastic. The housings are plastic and they can't survive getting hot. These get hot. These fuses get hot when they're in there, especially in these older cars, and they melt and pop. So, with that being said, we're going to throw a new one of those in there and see if that fixed our issue. I doubt it did. I think that probably fixed our indicator light issue, if I had to guess. And this one doesn't look bad, but I mean, it does look bad. It's all brown at the bottom. It looks pretty roached. So I'm gonna put a new one in for that too. I don't think this is an issue at all, actually, but could be one in the future. And I would rather not risk it for the Trisket. So after that, we'll run our fuel pump test and see if the fuel pump turns on. Truthfully, I don't know if it was turning on or not before, and I never heard it, and I never stopped to listen. So if you don't stop to listen, you'll never hear it. Alright, so those have been replaced. The next step is going to be start pulling injectors out. No, that's not what you want to see when you pull your injectors out. Running real nasty. Are they all like that? That one was particularly bad. Okay. Gas. So the injectors work. The fuel pump works. Alright, so we've checked fuses. We've gone and pulled all the bad fuses that we find, put new ones in. Check the fuel pump. The fuel pump runs and works. All the injectors spray and have a similar spray pattern. They're not leaking. So that's all good news. The bad news is that I didn't find anything glaringly obvious other than that 16 amp melted fuse. That could have been the indicator lights and why the indicator lights weren't working. There could also be another good reason why the indicator lights weren't working. I'm not sure. It's all simply scientific speculation at this point. Alright, next up is spark plugs. Spark plug actually doesn't look bad. It's wet, so it's soft fuel on injection. So all the plugs were clean. None of them, I mean, really dirty at all, actually. So next stop is going to be put all the plugs back in but one, and then we'll check for spark and make sure we got that spark action happening. Make sure it's still sparking when we want it to. I'm gonna take you home. Alright, next thing we're checking for is down here, little blue spark. I seen a spark. What'd you guys see? You guys see a spark? Yeah, you guys saw a spark too. Alright, so this can go back in. Go ahead and re-integrate spark plug 1 back into society. The next step, come fly over there. We're gonna pull the distributor cap off and make sure that the rotor didn't fry itself or something. Or the cap didn't eat itself on the inside. Maybe it did. Oh yeah, dude. Well, that could be part of the problem right there, folks. Smashed rotor cap. Just completely decked it. Smacked it. smoked it. Alright, I fixed the cap, fixed the rotor, got all the plugs hooked up, fuel injections in, batteries on, coils on. Let's see if she starts.